my talk about the two real public health problems in the infectious disease, the hepatitis B and C, which have a major global public health problem among the most frequent viral infections around the world, with a wide problem with a high prevalence worldwide and the high risk of chronicity, liver cirrhosis, hepatocellular carcinoma, and death. And the main cause of liver transplantation, and there's an improvement of efficacy of therapy. This last point will be discussed by my colleague. Schematically, for the natural history is from the normal liver to viral infection, hepatitis B and C, and the same natural history. So it will evolve to liver fibrosis, cirrhosis, and then hepatocellular carcinoma. For hepatitis B, this is only 2 billion persons have been infected with this virus. Generally, 5% will evolve to chronicity in adult persons, but 95% from children. The epidemiology, schematically, it's 3 regions: the low prevalence areas, less than 2%, intermediate prevalence area, and high prevalence. The vaccination program. This is the global schematic map, but with the introduction of universal vaccination with the World Health Organization, these data are decreased. So we have a hope to eradicate these viral infections if vaccination program at birth is respected by all countries. In the Maghreb region or North African region, we have some data about general population, blood donors, and pregnant women of HBs antigens. So the prevalence globally is the same, between 1 and 2%, but especially in Tunisia, we have prevalence of HBs antigen between 3 and 7% from north to south region. So in general population, it's median of about 5%. In Morocco, 8%. In Mauritania, it's around 20%. It's an exception. And they don't know why. In Libya, 2.2%, and Algeria, 2.6%. This is for general population. Blood donors, the same profile. So the profile is the same for each country. The study in Morocco is in a general. From all parts of the country, so it's homogeneous, and we found in general population 1.8%. This is a decrease and the success of immunization programs, because Morocco was 20 years ago around 3% in the HBS prevalence, and we have introduced the universal vaccination at birth. Related to risk factors, we have found dental treatment, history of sexual behavior, glass syringe. So this is the most important thing between general population and IDUs. And the important risk factors, especially in young persons, in very young persons, now we have the efficiency on vaccination program, so it's too much low. and the risk exposure between 30 and 50 years old. And it's related, it's more important in males than in females. In blood donors, around 1%. The virus, Epidemiology, so 8 genotypes with variants, pre-core, core, and surface antigen, and some mutants to therapy. Around related to the genotypes, all North African or Mediterranean regions, are infected with genotype D, and this genotype is characterized by the presence of some mutations, pre-core especially. And in Morocco, for example, we found the genotype 90% of genotype D and about 6% of genotype E. Relating to subtypes, the sequencing data, we have D7, 45%, D2, D1, but especially D7, which is, and it is the case in all North African region. This genotype D is known to be characterized by the presence of pre-core mutations, so this is a problem because we have a stop codon for producing HBe antigens. So we must do viral load for those patients in order to have to check the infectivity of those patients. So we have this analysis systematically. For hepatitis C is a real problem of public health. I hope that it will be resolved with the new direct-acting antivirals, which are effective. So we have around 3% around the world, and a very high risk of chronicity, more than 18%, and high risk of cirrhosis and carcinoma. In Africa, we are around 32% millions of African, and very highly prevalent countries in Africa, especially in Egypt and Central Africa. This virus is arenavirus from flaviviruses, Flaviviridae family of Flavivirus, Epacivirus genome, gender. Eight major genotypes and more than 18 subtypes. In United States, for example, we are around 1.6%. I hope that it's correct, with around 4 million person antibodies positive and 3 million with chronic hepatitis. The majority of those persons are birthed between 1945 and 65, the baby boomers, and we are now remembering the numbers of cirrhosis and the sequelae of these infections, because this virus was discovered in 1989, so the first serological test was in 1992. Around the world, hepatitis C infection rate is very high in Africa, 5%. And the Eastern Mediterranean region, EMRO region, and in Americas and European, around 1 to 2%. Yes. And the genotypes, North Africa, especially in Egypt, which prevalence was too high, and the prevalence of genotype 4. All the other countries have prevalence intermediate, for example, 1.2% in Libya, low in Tunisia, 1.8 in Algeria, and the predominance on genotype 1b, we don't, is a bad response to classic or standard of care, PEG interferon ribavirin. A large screening program in Morocco, and we find 1.58% in more than 16 patients studied in the general population. And this prevalence increased with age and reached something like 3% in patients above 15 years old. There's more prevalence of HCV infection in males than in females. The blood donors is around 0.6%, not very high. And genotypes, in the worldwide, we have genotype 1 in the United States, especially 1A, which is more prevalent than the other countries. Genotype 1B in the European and Asian countries. In Middle East, genotype 4. In our countries, genotype 1B and 2 with the same prevalences. It means around 15% of genotype 1 and 2. So, the consequences is in the response therapy, especially for genotype 1, and the disease severity. For example, in Morocco, the studies show that genotype 1 are more concentrated in cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma than in chronically infected patients. And also geographic distribution, epidemiologic implication, and vaccine development or new antiviral design. This is the profile of severe genotypes in Morocco. For example, in chronically infected patients, we have something like 50% with the prevalence of genotype 1B and 2A to C. Which with sequencing we find 2A, 2I, and the other genotypes are less prevalent, but this is in chronic patient, but in IDUs, this new paper published, we have a different profile. We have a new profile. We have 1A, which is prevalent, 60%, and the 3A. This profile of IDUs is like European ones. We have also studied multi-transfused groups, and we find something like 70% of HCV positive with the predominance of genotype 1B. I will change my conclusion. Since there is a vaccine, so we hope that we can eradicate hepatitis B with the vaccination program. And since the new drugs, new direct-acting antivirals for hepatitis C, we hope that the next decades will be the results of the promise of eradication of hepatitis C infection, also waiting for a vaccine. Thank you very much.